there are a few announcements that have to be made, and then I think we can get into whatever it is this group is going to look at. And I remind everyone I am privileged to align with throughout the world that the group is always the focus, and the group dictates the allowability, what resonates, what can come in. And it's the case of resonance, is it not? Nod. Okay. The principle of resonance, throughout what you've called forever on this planet metaphysics, is the key. So the higher the frequency, what? Well, you will pick up your vibration many times more than I think you would believe if you could see it. And I remind all of us that there is no concern. We have a great deal of assistance with whom has been worked on for some time prior to my arrival. And many of you are very sensitive to energy or have X-ray vision will see many areas of transformation that they've not known before. This we've seen over and over again. So it's become a part of our language, our area of communication. We have in this room all levels, have we not? We have people who have looked at the esoteric, we have people who have branched and confined themselves rather specifically to a belief system, and everyone here will realize that what I speak of, what we speak of, the little I refer to as the personality is the I am. The I am presence is all that is. It is not the one that Jermaine spoke of. It is the absolute connection with the Creator God, the Father. I speak of absolutes. There are no absolutes, but as far as we can tell, it's what we call source. And how many have read Mahatma 1 and 2? Oh, this is the best. That's wonderful. We must be near these Ivy League schools. I had occasion, I'll not name the location, but I asked the same question, and many put their hands up. I said, how many have read them? So reading is something different. I think the book tends to, or used to tend to, overwhelm. This is why we started in Europe. I was asked this question, a gentleman from Boston. Germans are generally fifth-rate people. The Swiss, the Germans, and the Austrians. So they think too much. Americans tend to think too little. It's not a judgment. Good. That's very And so, when you hear us refer to I, it's always the I, but it's the greater I. And as I repeat, it's not the universal I that we speak of, that so many of your teachers, including Christ, taught. In the days of Dwal Kul, in your esoteric studies, you will realize that they had no real knowledge of anything beyond what was called, they had no knowledge beyond the ninth initiation. They were told that there were other levels, and he brought in the term, which I think is so important to all of us, the ring passeth not. It's archaic British, but it's very effective. The ring passeth not. You can only resonate on the inner planes to the vibration or the frequency that you have been able to maintain. And what we're going to talk about, I gather, as we become a group, and the group becomes one, you determine what it is we are going to do. I have no idea as I sit here. I've been told that we might look at abundance in its profoundest sense. From our point of view, that spiritual abundance, the spiritual abundance is totally encompassing, is it not? It can be. The manifestations now going into the fourth dimension. We've had the last two groups going into the fifth dimension, which has never happened on this planet. Never happened. Astrally, people have gone into these. That has always been the grand division, the seventh astral level. This is where many have gone through the astral level and then united with the fifth, but only astrally. Now, this body is becoming, and for many before the seminar, you will notice that it becomes the light body. So many of you have spoken of ascension, you've read of ascension. It depends what ascension we're speaking of. The ascension, as far as man is concerned, related to what we view as his past, there is no past. But if you can consider the now, the body that we are creating will become, could become, whether you stay in physical form or not, the spiritual body in a very magnified way, in a way that has not been available to us in the past. And all of you, please open up, please start to breathe a little bit. Not right, we have oxygenate. We're going to be working with your DNA. We did a wonderful start. We had a lovely seminar in a place called Bellevue, Washington, another lovely state. Last time Brian was here, I'd come up from the Cayman Islands. No, near here, I was at Fort Dix. I was in the American Army, the Canadian, being shipped to Germany. And it didn't seem to make any sense to me. But I served honorably. You want to know that. And one of the great ironies in my life is they gave me an expert for shooting an M1, a bazooka, or something, and something else I shot. It's not been the greatest achievement of my life. We came through here, I was down the Cayman Islands, and I was going to London. This was 8-9 years ago, when I had a little money. And I left the Caymans, and it was 93 degrees. I got here, it was 20 feet below, and I met a professional tennis player who had been drinking. So we enjoyed a few drinks, and I was encouraged to get pneumonia. My memories are much more favorable this time, aren't they? So some of you are as far away as Texas, Washington State again, I see. Who's from Texas? Yes. Nice to see you. Where are you from in Texas? Dallas? Yeah. Who else is from a notable place? Oh, you're from San Diego then? San Diego, did you say? It's lovely. We're going to be there apparently in May. Yes, dear. Sonoma, yeah. That name registered. I think there was trying to put a light temple there many years ago. I'm being told somebody was there. Good. So the Texans and the people from Massachusetts and Canada, lovely, lovely lady. Oh, Richard! I didn't see. Oh, what a faux pas! How lovely! You have a seminar February the 10th. Oh, how wonderful! Because that'll be it. You'll be the first after this one. The secrets to stay alive. We've done what we've never done, and that is 3 major seminars, 14 days, 1 week in Portugal, which was wonderfully effective for all of creation. And then 2 4 days, all in 6 weeks. And the body's reacting a little. I alert you to the possibility, the very real possibility, that you'll have shifts in consciousness that the physical body will react to, possibly the emotional body. And you'll feel these shifts. And I urge all of you not to be concerned. You are the chosen ones, or you wouldn't be here, chosen in the sense of programmable DNA that will be utilized ultimately as savior energy for this planet. Some things that will be said and come out in Mahatma through this winter will explain more clearly what the terms of reference are for all of us as we go into this new age. It is truly a new age, but it's not an age that is being treated honestly from certain writings that I have read. You really, really need to use your discernment. It seems that every time there's a change, you had a change, I understand, in the House. The White House? No, you had a change in the Congress, a change in certain members. And we all know that that is not going to represent change. It represents anger. It represents frustration. You'll not have change until you change. Very deep-seated with all of us now, the frustration of knowing that we're greater than we yet perceive. We do not know our function on this little planet. We have no concept of the universality of all of creation. Please, gentle one, please. These truths from the earth, Gaia does this love the earth, does need all the help she can get. I'd like to do meditation just for alignment so that we can bond as one. We teach from the source of sources, the undifferentiated source, and those who have read these books know that there is now a connection on earth with your creator source, which there has not been in the past. So this will be how you live. And when we speak of ascension, the spiritual ascension is the one we speak of. The light body ascension is the light body. Most of you will have made your light body very quickly. Some of us we already have. The light body is the ascension that we spoke of in the past, what you view as past. And it's rather simple now. It's not a complex situation at all to create a light body. Do any of you have a sense of that? Being able to generate, to be able to be your own creator? There are so many ascension books, ascension manuals. The primary ascension is simply creating a light body. And that requires what in the very past has been referred to as the sixth initiation. We do not discuss initiations. I know some of you have gone through those schools of thought. They're somewhat archaic now. From our perspective, they're very valid for those that require it. Down your feet, gentlemen. Visualize a line, we call it the source star, and it's approximately 6 to 8 feet. This varies with you, and I'll help you with this. We will help you with this. Our energy sharing. No one will go into overwhelm. We invite Metatron now. The angelic host. The Mahatma has not been encouraged very much to come in because it has not been that balanced until Portugal, when we brought in the fifth feminine principle of existence, the feminine principle of existence, the SPOE, is a reminder. And it's totally balanced with the creator energy. This is something that you have not known on this central planet. It has been so disrupted for at least 250,000 years. Always you must invite. There's simply not a way. You have to ask your soul, your higher self, your oversoul, the monad, the creator levels to come in, and they are all available to you now. If those very clear, everyone is worked on individually, I urge you to keep the crown open. I urge you to invite all aspects of self, at all levels of self. The composite that you are is not known by all of you, in fact, any of you. Open the crown, gentlemen, please. Stand it out here, blazing white as it opens. Pranaya. Good. Now visualize an aqua blue line between your source star. Let's look at the source star now. It varies, as I say, it's only 2 to 3 meters. 3 meters, no, not that high right there. 6 to 8 feet. And know that whatever comes through the voice of Brian or the energy that comes into this room, that no one will go into overwhelm. And whether you get the theory or not, whether you get the concept or not, does not matter. Allow yourself to totally relax. For the soul, in your case now, invite the higher self, please. And before the weekend is over, we will be incorporating the oversoul, the spiritual realm. Higher self, please. primal soul you all know. It's about 6 inches on top of the crown chakra, possibly 8. And whether you can see these areas or not, the soul knows where they should be located, and primal soul should be located in the thymus gland. And before this weekend is over, all will have done that initiation. The most wonderful beings, Metatron, Mahatma, now that is totally balanced, must become balanced within your earth and within yourselves. The aqua blue line through your body, see, through the thymus, what you have called your heart chakra, all the way down the body, see, and into an earth star. Visualize this earth star, even in the center of Gaia, if you need great help. Your earth, the body is not tomorrow. Not tomorrow, everyone inviting her, it, bring this great energy into your being, for this is the consciousness for this planet. What regrettably you can call the Father energy, the Father, the Son, the Father, Jesus. Too confined. Start to visualize, if you will, that we are a group, that all of creation, in fact, is a group. And it should not be concerned for separation or independence or being lonely in this oneness, for everyone in all of creation has their own identity. And the more you expand your consciousness, the greater the real I am becomes your reality. And the fifth, sixth dimension are anchored readily within this body that can withstand this multi-dimensional matrix. So we have this first star. Let's work on it. Let me pick it up a little bit more than I'm seeing. It doesn't matter where you place it, because the soul knows where it should be, the oversoul. Good. Trust, gentle one. Good. And we realize that we're doing this as a group. We're doing an alignment where the group becomes one. Well, if we can touch with this group into the fifth or sixth dimension, the fifth dimension is you can take it to the 160th power now. But you have to have a physical body. Others cannot do this. They come in and do it for you. This is some of the nonsense that has been so persuasive here. You must make your connection with the realities that you are, not somebody else. And there can be no intermediaries between you and your God source. It never was possible. It's part of the chaos that we have on this little planet. You and your God source will become one. One. In an infinite world, not a static world. See the source star begin to expand. For it is not static, gentle one. We love our static, perfect God. Consciousness continually expands and into a greater and greater level of wholeness. And we are that consciousness. It's just a case of reconnecting. We've always been. Begin to see a pyramidal light grid, gentlemen, over this group which is starting to form. This group will travel as one. So we all come back, and we want to stay. You don't visualize a pyramidal light grid. Pyramidal light grids are always within the realm of physicality. They are all universal. They are all universal. This one is very golden. And we agree that we will travel as a group. For we know that dissonant thought takes from that group. And at this time we trust, for we allow the soul, the higher self, the oversoul, to be our true barometer. For they recognize the truth of our beingness as extension of these various soul levels. Breathe out, gentlemen, please. Good. North Star, Earth Star. The very aqua blue light is brilliant. It is a brilliant light, everyone. It is brilliant. This becomes very, very important as you recognize the feminine principle of existence, the microtron, which is the spiritual bonding with the atomic body, which is now occurring on this little planet. Let's just channel, some of you have excellent channels, you've been working very hard on them. What does it stand as this aqua blue light bring in some whiteness of source? It's a very incandescent white light. And start to operate up and down as you were in an elevator. So this shaft now becomes an elevator from your source star into the center of Gaia. This group can go into the center. That will give you a lovely earth. As you go into the earth, notice her changes. It has the most profound and evolutionary changes of her 3.2 billion years in existence. She welcomes your energy. Keep in mind all of the time that when we go into the fifth dimension, you'll be working with a group that's over 100 and some odd. And you have to take that to the 160th power. So the numbers now become phenomenal. The numbers now become phenomenal for small groups. This is how change is made. This is how change is made. Take the light of your source. Remember, you're traveling with Mahatma because it's a name now that is the most powerful on earth. Because it is balanced with the feminine principle. I cannot say that often enough, for if you haven't, in what you view as the past, had the feminine principle of existence integrated, then you have chaos. And all of you feel that. You've known that. You just haven't known what to do. Breathe as you go up and down. Wherever you see resistance, hotels that have these lovely elevators outside and inside, have a look around as we go up and down. And wherever there's any resistance, wherever there is any clearing that is required, let us look to this now, please. Crown, I want it open more, please. The crown, it's a lot to remember, I know. Much more open. Take your jelly coast and open up the crown. Allow them to take it out like you would a white sheet. If you're making sheet out, out. Open it up, beloved ones. Open the crown. Oh, very good. Throughout eternity. For you truly are God. And what we're doing is reconnecting with our God source, our beginnings, the ultimate rebirthing. Release that which you no longer can carry into the fourth and fifth dimension. Release the false beliefs that say, I can't. Release the beliefs that say, I have no abundance. Release the belief that forever I've been dominated by a male power, male essence, and I have not been free. Release that, every one of you, even if you're in a male body. And I recognize now that the feminine principle of existence is here to stay. It is anchored on this planet now. And community will be balanced for this planet of sorrow, this little red planet of sorrow, as it is known. The goodly company is here now. Keep looking at that line and just stay out of the way now as we move some of the patterns that have so persistently kept you in a third density. Breathe out, gentle ones. Something is starting to be opened, worked on. The heart always is the issue. We'll come now to the thymus gland. It's above the pump. The heart is simply not designed for the work that we do. This is the most important gland in your body. And we will walk into this gland, visualize it, see a small door. Let's call it a golden door for the purpose of this exercise. It's in the thymus. Tarzan hit his chest, this is where he would have done it. Open this golden door, gentle ones. And inside, we know that we can recreate the cosmic heart, the source itself. You cannot be an extension of a creator God and not ultimately function even in this density as a full-fledged member. Walk into this room and allow the group in this room. Take this room into this cosmic heart stage. And in order to do it, you might look to your left front and place the Archangel Michael. Put a pillar there, please, a glowing light, very bright pillar. Yeah, the right side, Raphael. Same thing, gentle one. Girls, don't turn off because it's the dynamic side of your body. Make it light. To the back and on the left-hand side. Ariel. Brilliant. For the purpose of the exercise here is this room. And this is the group that we're taking into this cosmic heart. And the back on your right. Gabriel. Really light these. Move them into your cosmic heart. This whole group, this room, we move in now into this cosmic heart. And we realize how much more powerful we have become. And this is where the creative potential, the recoding for the few among you, all of you, few on earth, electromagnetically will shift the consciousness of planet Earth much, much faster than you could possibly believe. All the assistance that we need is here with us now. Settling comfortably in this room, please. Begin to bond with the group in love. For ultimately there is only love and light. And hopefully on this planet of sorrows you'll have joy. Wonderful. Remember the pyramidal grid, see all. And know that the highest vibration, it's a cosmic law, the highest vibration always carries the group. And everyone is affected, no matter how negative. But realize that within this group, for the purposes of a greater wholeness, all of creation, we can affect it. Breathe through the chakras, the base of your feet, please now, as a group, and allow this microtron, this aqua blue color, to come through our bodies into this cosmic heart. Cosmic heart in miniature. Cosmic heart in miniature. And we have no reservation about becoming multi-dimensional beings or introducing a multi-dimensional matrix. We're very comfortable in this room. We realize that we can align, that the group is one. And we start to expand this love. We truly do not understand on this little planet unconditional love. But some of you get a glimpse, some of you get that merciful second or minute, and sometimes an hour here and there, where you go into a state of relative bliss. And then you have that sense that there is much more to me. I know that there is much more to me than this finite carcass that is so caught up with the material world, so caught up with the outer life, outer things. It's a trap. You've been trapped on this little planet for 250,000 years. Many of you find it difficult. That is true. Your archaeologists and your scientists don't show it that way. That is the way it is. And more than anything, it has to do with your coding. A 2-strand that you can call a 3-strand DNA, but it should be 12, is manipulation and control. We resonate as a group and we say we will adore the I Am. We will adore our God Self. And we will trust that change, after so many millions of years, will happen on this little planet. For all the creation, there is a bottlenecking here, we know this. You have nearly 7 billion souls going around and around and around on a wheel. Visualize this. They have not been able to raise their consciousness to get off this wheel, or the desire, the quote, things, unquote, whether of a sexual or of a material nature. So it's a trap. And the ultimate trap for all of us, gentle ones, has been to not know how to make the shift in consciousness to raise our vibration sufficiently above earth and her astrals. And the religions haven't worked. None of these have worked. There are quite a number of you who have already done primary ascension. So the light body that many of you are being taught as we sit in this comfortable room, be very comfortable, gentlemen. See the fireplace in front of you. Have a fireplace lit. And breathe and tell the medulla oblongata to relax. The brainstem, where everything is said, we tell it to relax. And we feel the heart of the one beside us. We do not feel greater than anyone. We begin to feel the wholeness of what we can become, because that is a divine right. We have a divine right, a divine connection to all that is. Breathe in that divine nature. Collectively and individually. Little more bonding, please, with one another. Visualize for the moment the energy coming through the top of this pyramidal light grid that has been established. And turn up that energy now within this room as it comes in, as it would through a good pyramid, and affect the group so the vibration begins to hasten, to rise, to lift. To the Melchizedek, for they are here. It's a time now to invite all 352 levels of self. Many of them do not know you exist, and I insist now with these groupings that are gathering, and there are multitudes. that this level of consciousness is also you. Those that are coming in now, please. Many feel that this is not associated with who they are. Begin to release the dismay and hurt and the suffering that the goodly company, being you, have elected to participate in for millions of years. Finally, it's going to work. Finally, it is working. So profoundly, so powerfully that the hastening now of this age in the next few years will overwhelm even those who think they understand. The change is now so rapid. And we trust that change can be made and is being made, that our cellular structure will withstand the transformation not only into light, but into spirituality. But the spiritual body is also a possibility, a very real possibility as we look at you. As part of the unknown that's becoming your reality, and you will see this. I know it's possible, say this realization after me please, I know it is very possible that I can not only create my light body, and I'm viewing many of you that have, but I can also create the reality of a spiritual body. This is the one that you have not known on this little planet. Breathe this through the group. Please, and this through this group doesn't mean that you exit, for we need the 1,728,000 who are coming into light less than 1% of recognizing who they are. And it is so fortunate that you, among this number, are beginning to feel the shift in consciousness and know how and why they are to be made. And what happens with all of you, you will not need the teachers who sit so comfortably. You will know yourself for the decoding in the 12 helices of your 12-strand DNA will and is being reconstructed. And it's the electromagnetics of your reconstruction of your DNA, the way it was intended before the negative elements made you prisoners, with 2 in what I review is as 3. We will go through all of this, for it's very, very important. And we will ignite this, for we have too few of this 1,000,007 going into light. Light is not an issue anymore. Ascension is not an issue, because the ascensions you speak of are simply realizations away. Do not plague yourself with ascension, that ascension. Breathe in, gentlemen, please. Say unto yourself, I realize that I am the creator of my own reality, And I allow that to resonate not only through my 4 or 5 body system, depending on your belief, but through this group. And wherever I have clearings to be done, it shall be done. Wherever there are issues that dominate my life as I perceive it, so in such a limited fashion, I will raise above that vibration and become light, love, and joyful. And with this light body that I am creating, and some have created, there's no need to go out and sound the bugle, to sound the horn, to say this is who I am. Electromagnetically, you convey to others, and it's a startling effect, for the resonance is such that it affects all those around you. You don't need to advertise your piety. You don't need to say your church is greater than another's, for that would be false. We are able to, through Brian, to see light very, very readily. It's a very special privilege to be with the greatness of yourselves. Many of it was researched prior to coming here, but I'm not aware of all of it. Not possible. The group is so powerful now, far, far beyond what you could possibly believe. And when we say 100 to the 160th power, you can work that out. It's the astronomical numbers. The 6th dimension is 360. The power of 360. So you do not need large numbers any longer on this little planet. California, a small group, 210, secured California without any difficulty. But what we did in California can be done with groups, and I know they will be done here, maintained after we work on the 2 black holes, New York and Washington, D.C. This small group, those 2 areas are paralyzed with darkness. I can't, and in order to infuse enough light into those 2 areas, it takes a group like this. And it is with great pleasure that we conveyed you that the earth didn't shift on November the 4th, 1994. It was a strange day, admittedly, but they didn't shift, nor will they. So all those who are consumed with the changes because this person or that person said so, you'll have rumblings. New York and Washington are very, very dark. And I know, now that we see the energy in this group, that we can heal and sustain enough light that it will survive in the physical sense, but it has its own lessons to learn, whether they're through the financial, but it must be cleansed a little, hopefully a lot. And while we're in this room, I'm going to ask that you take the earth gently into this cosmic room. We're a very loving group, and I think it will be very, very effective. When we were in Montreal, we were able to safeguard part of the Lord Seaway, Mississippi, the Delta, for this uncertain forecasting in the past was all to be decimated. It's not necessary. But after we do what we do today, other groups should form and support in the same way as we do now. We need this little planet, we need this earth, for there is no other school in existence with the same dualities, the complexities with which we learn from, painfully, more often than not, but we learn. God would be having a conversation with itself if it were not for these dualities. Remember, God is not static. So the few among you now, bring the earth into this cosmic room. Sit very comfortably, preferably in a golden chair, for it's a wonderful resonator of light. You are doing very well. Breathe in now to this timeless room, to this cosmic heart, please. You're beginning to build. See the four columns of light with the archangels that we mentioned. Michael, Raphael, Oriel, and Gabriel are very, very good at this. And they've been working on this room long before we got here. And remember what we are doing. We're securing this part of the earth. For it had been written that this would not exist. New York and Washington, D.C., or the areas around it. Fold with your left hand the North Pole, please, on the axis. South Pole with your right hand, please. And I want you to have a sense now of balanced polarity, that the dynamic essence is leading our perception on earth. It's becoming more and more androgynous in its true spiritual sense. And the feminine principle of existence, view this with your right hand as you hold the earth, for she is taking a very dynamic position. Feel her love. Feel her receptive abilities, but also that she can be equally dynamic with what we refer to as the male or dynamic or plus and minus energies. View androgyny, gentle ones. View through this shaft, these poles, that one is not greater than the other. View them both equally as receptive. For the earth is, without a doubt, the most beautiful within this galaxy. Praise her plant kingdom, for there is no equal. Let us ask that we not be abusive. Let us not be unconscionable for a living thing, that we not prostitute for the outer self what we cannot gain back on the inner. In order for the planet to save itself from humankind, it needs this kind of energy. For thoughts are things, thoughts are things. These gentle ones, for the earth is truly traumatized, very, very grateful that the feminine principle is finally being accepted by a few. And now in this shaft, turn her to America, please. You'll see the globe in front of you. You'll see Canada, the Hudson Bay. You'll see the provinces. You'll see the northern states. You'll see Maine, Massachusetts come down. The District of Columbia and New York now, please, primarily, and we'll focus on those two, for they are excessively dark. Begin to express energy now that can save and secure. Humankind will make their own adjustments, but we need the planet to learn with, for, and from. Take an area now, New York State, up to the Canadian border, please. Over to the area around Virginia. So it's a rather large area, is it not? Many, many people. We've not worked in an area that's so dense. This will be a major challenge for all of us. So much diversity, but most of it's negative. Begin to see, breathe out the disinformation, the darkness, the government that controls your government, the shadow governments. Breathe them out and see everything in these areas as light. And we say on to this area that will not be manipulated anymore by governments that have nothing to do with us as people. Breathe out, gentle one. Breathe out this whole area that I had no idea how heavy it is. And this group agrees, fourth and fifth dimensionally, as we touch into it, that this whole land mass will not disappear as was indicated sometime prior to this day. It's a very vulnerable place, and we see it secure. I want you to take all these states around here, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maine, all of them please now, Virginia, whatever states you have, this state, this lovely New Jersey. And secure them with golden nails as a symbolic gesture. Drive them in around this whole area. Oh, I had no idea how dark. How manipulative this energy has been. Breathe it in and breathe it out. Do not retain these influences. Heal, please. Heal. Some of you are wearing wonderful colors, the lavenders, the purples, the plum colors, the great colors. All of these envision this area as being healed, cleansed. You can see it raise in huge clouds. Dissonant energy that is not to be, cannot be, does not function in the now of our creative abilities. Raise it, gentle ones. Raise it up through your body. Visualize this fireplace in front of you and this room that we have created, this cosmic room. And visualize everything that cannot withstand coming up this chimney and being diffused into white light, into the source itself, burnt away this dark, rather horrible energy that requires transformation. Raise it up, gentle ones. You can do better than this. Breathe it out for this area and for your lovely country. For all of humankind, for all of creation, for we need this earth. It's the darkest of all planets, but my God, she's also been very beneficial to the source, for from here he learns. Very good. You have no idea how profoundly effective this is. And I ask that you look at your Washington, which is not controlled by Washington. You've made a gesture and voted new people in, I hear. Look at it all and see the very clear body of white. And know that government must return that is of the people. Government must return that is of the people and not a manipulative right-wing branch of church calling themselves Christians, or politicians who are so foully manipulated that it's almost inconceivable that you can feel so unworthy that you have to re-elect some of these beings. Light is hard to find, and you seldom ever find it in the politicians, but raise their vibration now through Washington so that this outer government, whether you call it the trilateralists, or whether you call it the Greys, or whether you call it whatever, visualize over Washington itself this horrific cloud being lifted, please. And realize that 4% of the world population is not the world. I have to repeat this because many Americans have been told for so long that they become isolated. This is a globe, this is a global community, and it must become so. 4% of the world population are not the world. And isolation doesn't work anymore. Isolationism doesn't work. Raise this all into light, gentle ones, please. Washington. Delaware, New York. Breathe it up through this fire that we have in front of us, please. Breathe all negativity out. Burn it in transformational fire. Burn it, gentle ones, in transformational fire, that which is not light. And on, when you exhale, send it up to the source star and burn it into transformational fire. I want you to see this part of your world become lighter and lighter. Colossal manipulation, particularly the last 17 years. Unbelievable for people to be manipulated so badly. So terribly badly, and when they're told the truth, they don't want to hear it. Pentagon, please look to the Pentagon, bring in great light to this area. I look to the cabal, the powers, the people that probably number no more than 97 on this earth that control all of you in slavery. For you have been slaves forever despite what you think and feel. America the free, you'll have to reassess freedom. With the coding that you have, it's not possible to be free. The only freedom known to man now will be within, and it will be profound, and it will be generous. This outer world that we perceive as our reality is so thinly veiled that day by day by day now you will see these veils come down and you will be angry. For you have been sold a bill of goods that is not the reality. And as you look at this, stay steadfast within this heart, within your inner I am, and above all else, let go of illusion, this outer self. These three lower chakras would say, look at what we have done. Look at what I have done. Look at how wonderful I am. Look at my children. Everything will begin to resonate with the inner I am, the God-Source connection. And then you have abundance such as you have never known for at least 250 million years on this planet. I know your archaeologists don't tell you this. This is a very old planet. There have been many, many civilizations other than Atlantis, Lemuria, and those. Or the one we're living in now. Open the crowds and the ones released for the earth, for all. But we have a bottleneck. So 7 billion, there's no other planet of the billions that have the atom Cadmon body that have the same problem as this little planet, recycling souls over and over and over and over and over, for they do not know how to release themselves. And for some there's profound fascination with the outer life. the life of the false senses. Your senses, gentle ones, your five senses are a very poor barometer of reality, and yet we've all learned to live with them and use them, have we not? The inner I am is becoming the reality. It's the one that says, my intuition is being developed. I'm beginning to sense. Telepathically, I'm able to communicate a little. And when the DNA shifts, which it will, more rapidly than you could ever believe in the next 2-3 years, you will become complete. And you will not need teachers like this one unless you gather to help the earth and use the power that can be generated with the group. For you will be fed the same information that he is. He's of a different evolution, but he will, and you will have the same accessibility to universal consciousness and beyond universal consciousness. I say unto myself, I will not remain limited and structured as I have in what we view as the past. I'm prepared to live to my full potential now. I realize that God and country are only a very distant part and disconcerting part of who I am.